gods, welcome back to Fusion YGO. It is your boy Christian, the Haver Card Man, bringing you another live duel today from the team. We got Lucas on the left here piloting Orcust, the very profile that you saw recently from Patrick, and then we got Travis over here on the right playing Melffy Tri-Brigade today. So Lucas is going to win the die roll for game one, and of course is going to go first, seeing as he is playing the mid-range Orcust build, which is a little bit more focused on playing a tempo-based control kind of style. So we're going to see the normal summon of Gearsu, the Orcust Mech Knight, really quick. Travis has no responses, which means we are just going to be able to pop right off with Orcust combo today, being a very simple one, but a very strong one nonetheless. So we're going to send the Orcust Nightmare to graveyard with that Gearsu effect on summon. And then as soon as we finish shuffling here, we are going to immediately follow it up with the token effect of Gearsu, getting a World Legacy token to both sides of the field. And then following that up by linking off the token into a Link Haribo, realizing very quickly that he needs effect monsters for Galatea. So he's going to link that token off first to go straight for the Link Haribo, and then he will be able to go into his Galatea. So getting that now set up, he will go straight for the Tete. Get in just a second here. There's the Galatea on field, that beautiful ultimate rare, I do believe. Gotta absolutely love it. Alright, now we're going to go look and activate our Orcust Nightmare from graveyard to be able to dump from deck. I do believe we are actually going to send the World Legacy World Wand here, of course, because we just want to get the extra body on field from the Orcust Nightmare, which is always a good thing. Shuffle it back up here. Just kind of also thinking at the same time, taking our time to shuffle so we have time to think through our plays and make sure that we are doing exactly what we want to set up the board that we need. Alright, so he's actually going to go ahead and follow up by activating the World Legacy World Wand in graveyard here. I think I saw another World Wand in hand. He almost could have activated that effect to get another body on field, but I think he's choosing to keep it for resource management purposes, which is totally fair. Alright, so what are we looking at here? He's just looking at the extra deck, trying to think of his plays to go for next. I think he's debating on that Rusty Bardiche play, actually. Quite a strong, powerful move to go for indeed. Let's see where we end up. So now we are going into the graveyard, finally going to activate that World Wand effect to summon back the Nightmare to the field. Always a good play. Even if she just stays on field for whatever reason, it's good against Link monsters, so you gotta like that. The fact that it cannot be destroyed by battle with a Link monster is always hilarious. Especially when it just randomly comes up and like nobody's expecting it. Alright, so thinking through more of our plays here. Gonna use the Galatea effect now to actually shuffle back that World Wand into the deck. And instead of going for a Babble, we are actually searching out the Orchestrated Return here. Big plays, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we saw the World Wand in hand there. So this makes total sense, actually, seeing as he can just send that straight to the graveyard and get a free draw, too. Gotta absolutely love those plays. Alright, so just shuffling up here, making sure that we're all good to go so it doesn't look like we're cheating. And I'm gonna offer to cut and decline. Okay. So we're going to flip that Orchestrated Return now and actually send the Orcust Symbol Skeleton to top deck a Dark Ruler and a Torrential Tribute. Wow. Talk about the big brain plays, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, I should say. And it looks like it doesn't matter that we didn't search the Babble because I think that was one in hand as well. Alright, so just kind of thinking through the rest of our play line here, trying to think of a way to make it to that Rusty Bardiche while also getting the Dingirsu and keeping the Symbol Skeleton in the graveyard. Alright, so just kind of, he's really thinking here, he's like kind of making counts right now, talking over some stuff with Travis to make sure that everything's understood and everything's legal. Looks like it's all been pretty good so far, pretty smooth sailing for Orcust. Of course, not looking to set up anything too dominating just yet, just looking to establish that tempo and get those resources into play here. It's a good thing I'm actually very familiarized with Orcust. It's a really fun deck, I'm not going to lie. So we're going to actually Symbol Skeleton back the Gearsu here, just so that we have some extra bodies on field, which I think means, yep, there's going to go the Gearsu overlay right there. And we're going to reattach that Symbol Skeleton to get him right back into the graveyard, as well as getting our Dingirsu in rotation, and being able to go for that Rusty Bardiche play as well, which is going to end up getting us double Fogblade in the end here. So we're going to actually go ahead and summon the Rusty and activate effect to go ahead and search through our deck, send a Silent Boots to graveyard, setting a Fogblade from the Rusty effect, and then just going to immediately follow that up by banishing the other Silent Boots to get the other Fogblade from deck here. Just absolutely awesome plays. Gotta love having those extra effect negations that are just so easily searchable, and then getting the bonus advantage off of Rusty Bardiche being able to pop whenever you summon Dingirsu to his zone is just incredibly strong. Got to absolutely love that. So just shuffling back up here, doing a lot of searching this turn, man. Joel and Lockbird would have been hurting this hand very bad for Lucas, but thankfully Travis did not have any disruption this turn. All right, so we're gonna follow that up here, kind of once again just thinking through our plays, making sure that everything's set up here, looking at Gearsu, just reading all of his effects again, making sure he's aware. Gonna set the Fog Blade now, and probably the Torrential Tribute there, and then there goes the Orchestrated Babble, just like I thought, which means that he has folding Gearsu plays on the opponent's turn, live and ready to go. Travis is actually just gonna put the token into attack position and attempt to go to battle phase right off the bat. Lucas is gonna think here for a second. He's trying to do some big brain plays because he knows that Travis is trying to crash that token. So his plan of action is gonna be, let's see here. He's looking at the Fog Blade. He's reading that text, making sure he understands it. He's gonna activate the Fog Blade and actually target his own Bardiche so that Travis can't crash the token into it to get the evenly matched play. Lucas just reading Travis like a book here, knowing what he was trying to go for, but that just burns Travis's battle phase. He's gonna go main phase 2, normal summon that Rescue Cat, add Tribute for a cost, trying to get its effect to resolve here, just explaining the rulings on Lucas's side here. All right, so we're gonna get Rescue Cat and now search from the deck to the field here. We're gonna go for a Calantosa, Spirit of the Forest, and a Melffy Pony here in just a second. So Travis getting a little bit confused. He has an older version of the Rescue Cat, so as far as he is aware, the Rescue Cat does not negate their effects, but Lucas is over here checking up the errata text to confirm that it is indeed true that those monsters that are summoned have their effects negated. Very unfortunate for the Calantosa play. It would have been really, really big brain, but of course it just unfortunately does not work that way. Either way, Travis still has bodies to work with here, whether he wants to go into Xseed plays, Link plays, whatever he wants to here. He has bodies on field for it. So the Rescue Cat being helpful nonetheless. All right, so just getting through the shuffle up here. We're waiting to see if he's going to go for the rank 2 or if he's going to go straight into a Link monster here. All right, what do we got going on? He's still looking at his hand, trying to think about where to go to get past his fort. He knows that there's still one more Fog Blade set. He's actually going to discard the Melffy Rabbit to special summon Karass to the field. Another level 2 beast body that will allow him to extend his plays further and give him more options. So let's see here. He's looking through his extra deck to make sure that he has some options, trying to see what's going to suit him best in this current situation here. I think he's kind of sitting on one. He's kind of debating on it. We saw a Farragut there, so it's most likely not going to be her. He's looking at the other pile in his hand here. Let's see. Just reading his cards to make sure that he's understanding them fully. Totally good. Always read your cards, ladies and gentlemen. Don't fall into the common plague of a Yu-Gi-Oh player, and avoiding that card text is it's just a bad idea. So make sure you read your cards, ladies and gentlemen. Read your cards and eat your vegetables. That's all I'm going to say. And always have an honest onion, as Patrick would say. So really thinking hard about his plays here. Travis is really trying to find a way. He's gonna go for the overlay play, rank 2. That's 3 materials, so it's got to be a Melffy Mommy here. Yep, there we go. Melffy Mommy touching down in defense position. He's going to attempt in a moment here to activate its effect to attach a material from his hand or field. Lucas just kind of reading over the card here to make sure he understands it fully. Okay. Yeah, reading through all the different layers of effects that Melffy Mommy has. She is an incredibly fun card, I will be honest, especially for Zeus plays. But we're just going to activate that second Fog Blade, targeting the Mommy on the attempt to activate to attach a material, just to make sure that he doesn't get the extra material on it and that he can't go into a Zeus with it, which is always just awesome to be able to deny that right off the bat. And then he's actually going to also follow it up by banishing the Symbol Skeleton, summoning back the Ningirsu, and going to send to graveyard, I believe, the back row here. Yeah, he's sending the graveyard the back row. He's trying to pop the Melffy Mommy with the Bardiche. They did actually forget that the Bardiche was Fog Bladed, but they do catch it here in just a second. Yeah, Lucas realizes almost right away that his Bardiche is under Fog Blade, so he's not able to pop the Melffy Mommy, unfortunately. Not sure why he got rid of the Fog Blade. That was a mistake there. He realizes that pretty quickly, too. Just a couple of misplays, but really easy corrections to make. Travis was actually about to scoop there until Lucas realized his mistake and corrected it, so they were able to continue the game and give Travis a chance to hopefully survive here. All right, unfortunately, Travis actually has like little defense right now because that token has 0 attack points, and Lucas can't attack into the Melffy Mommy, but he can still attack Travis directly, so meaning it's actually quite easy for him to go for game this turn, unfortunately for Travis. All right, so shuffle it up here. Looks like we got the Orcust Nightmare. I believe the Nightmare effect was on end phase to send the World Wander Graveyard to have a follow-up play for the next turn here. So we're gonna go into Lucas's turn. He is gonna draw, and let's see here. What does he have? So it looks like he drew a Brass Bombard for turn. I think the other monster in his hand was a Dark Grepher here. We'll probably see that touchdown in just a moment. All right, there we go. There's the Dark Grepher touching down on the field, opting to activate effect to discard the Brass Bombard and then be able to send a dark monster from his deck to the graveyard, absolutely snowballing in that Orcust advantage. Got to love it 100,000%. All right, so he's still got the Dingirsu on field here, but thankfully he summoned it last turn, so he is still able to summon another one during his own turn to get some more stuff off of Travis's field and not have to worry so much about it. Unfortunately, he still can't clear up that Bardiche, which actually would be helping him a lot right now, being able to clear more of Travis's field and having another monster they can attack with. I mean, 2,100 damage may not seem like a lot in terms of attack points, given when you're looking at competing against other monsters, but on a direct hit, 2,100 is actually a decent amount of life points here, especially when you can boost it with stuff like Orcust Nightmare, which, unfortunately, I believe Lucas was forgetting to keep track of this game on which monsters he was targeting to boost, so they unfortunately didn't add that to any sort of the calculations here. So we're just assuming that it was on monsters that he ended up linking off and not using. So very, very unfortunate for Lucas. He definitely could have used that to his benefit in these early games here. He does realize it later on in the matchup, however. All right, so looking here, he's just kind of thinking out his place. He's got a Galatea on board now after getting a couple more of his bodies back out. He's got the Nightmare back in graveyard. Looks like he's still got a Sybil Skeleton in the extra deck. He actually, unfortunately, he doesn't have enough bodies on field right now. Oh, no, he had the Sybil Skeleton in the graveyard. He might have had two, to be honest. There goes the Girsu, though, off the Sybil Skeleton. He actually has enough bodies right now that if he wanted to, he could totally go for the Orcustrian play, which I would not blame him for at all, especially with how many monsters he has in that banish pile. Being able to send all those back to, I mean, it wouldn't really affect Travis all that much, but it would at least get him some resources back in the deck. But then again, he could cycle stuff well enough that he's not too worried about it, I don't believe. So just trying to figure out which steps to go for from here. I think Lucas is actually managing his resources quite well, making sure that he's always got stuff in the graveyard to keep his plays going, making sure his banish pile doesn't get too heavy, and also making sure that he has stuff to keep Travis off of his own plays by setting that Orcust Crescendo from deck with the Galatea here. So just kind of talking over some stuff really quick, just discussing while we're shuffling. So once again, we're sitting on a Dingirsu with no materials, a Girsu the Orcust Mech Knight, a Galatea, which is currently linked, so it cannot be destroyed by battle, and then a Rusty Bardiche that is affected by Fogblade, as well as Travis's Melffy Mommy affected by Fogblade as well, and a 0 attack World Legacy token. I thought that was funny that he switched it to attack and then couldn't even use it. Kind of funny there. All right. Lucas really debating on things here. He's thinking about like linking stuff off, or maybe going into that second Dingirsu, trying to send some stuff here. All sorts of different plays that he could think about. I think honestly at this point in time his best play, because I believe Dingirsu can send any card on the field to the graveyard. His best play would have been to send his own Bardiche to the graveyard, to then be able to summon it back with the Fog Blade that goes with it, and be able to get that extra attacker. Oh, no, and send one card to your opponent controls. Okay, so that is very fair. Unfortunately, he's not able to use that in his own Bardiche, which would have been very handy in a situation like this. But what can you do? It's just how it is. So, and of course, the Bardiche cannot be used as link material, so it is just kind of a sitting body there right now, not really be able to do much of anything. So he is going to overlay for that second Dingirsu now, attempting to, I believe, send to the graveyard the Melffy Mommy, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, going to get rid of that body right off the field, just so there's no chances that Travis can get the Zeus. Tried to attack with the Bardiche, but then once again realizes very quickly about the Fog Blade that he cannot attack with it, and taking that play back right away. So he does have, or no, I think he was trying to use the Bardiche to pop again, and once again realized it was under Fog Blade. So he does have two Dingirsus on field and a normal Girsu though, so that is a total of 52 plus the 1,800. That is a total of 7k life points. Not at all bad. That would all be a direct hit thanks to that token being a 0 attack, if I do remember correctly here, which is always a good thing. Let me double check that. I actually saw it look stupid. Yes, that is a 0 attack token. All right, so thinking through the rest of his plays here, see if there's anything he can do to get that last 1,000 damage on board here. But he doesn't really have all that much to go for him. He doesn't have anything to burn. Can't even if he had it, he wouldn't be able to cowboy for game, which is kind of funny because he'll be just 200 short at that point. Just really thinking through everything he can here to make this go as smoothly as possible and in his favor. I think he did forget that he had the torrential tribute set though, as well as the Degirsu's ability to detach to protect. So basically, if he were to torrential during Travis's turn, he would just be able to protect his own board while destroying Travis's. So it becomes like a quick effect Raigeki kind of. Attempting to link off the Bardiche here with the Girsu, unfortunately realizing once again very quickly that Bardiche cannot be used as link material. Very, very sad. He was very looking forward to that play, I can tell. So actually, just going to go straight for the attack here, dealing 7k damage and putting Travis down on 1,000 life points here. He's really hoping on a top deck right now to be able to come back in this game. It is not looking too good for him, admittedly, here. So, looking at the hand, going to draw for turn. Not really sure what we got here. Oh, he is just going to scoop. That's an infinite permanence, a Kalatosa, and a Melffy. That is not enough to come back from a board like this, ladies and gentlemen. So, Orcust going to take up game 1 here. Just got done with sighting. Our players are shuffling in here, getting ready for game 2. Ironically, Travis is actually opting to go second this time because I don't know, I'm not really sure. I think he's just playing board breaking cards and is actually having a build that is prepared to go second against this type of deck. So really hoping that he top decks what he needs to be able to keep his stuff going here to stay alive. All right, so look at it. Lucas is going to start off here by summoning the Girsu. Travis is more prepared this time. He does open up with the infinite impermanence to negate that right off the bats before Lucas is able to get his plays off the ground. Really going to hurt him. So Lucas is forced to actually activate dangers now. Going to shuffle up his hand to make sure that it's all randomized. He's going to start off with that danger Mothman here, hoping that it's not going to get sniped and he can start getting into his plays. Getting his graveyard set up, getting some extenders on field. Looks like Travis is going to call the numbers here, 1 through 4, 5 and 6 are rerolls. So we're going to get a 5 right off the first bat. Of course, reroll right away. Going to go for the 2 and immediately snipe the Mothman right out of the hand, meaning that we're going to get his second effect off to draw 1 and discard 1 for both players. Lucas going to be able to discard the Orcust Nightmare and Travis the Melffy Rabby. Lucas is going to follow it up here with a Danger Nessie, really banking on these dangers to get his plays going here. At least he's got the Nightmare in the graveyard, so he has something to go off with here, provided the dangers don't resolve the way he wants them to. All right, so Travis going to roll here 1 through 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, just confirming the dice rolls here and how it's going to work. And we are going to roll a 2, which means that was actually technically the wrong card, but it's random enough. So there goes the Danger Nessie, meaning that Lucas is now going to have to search his deck for another danger to try to keep his plays going here. Kind of some little banter going on that you guys unfortunately don't get to hear. It's kind of funny. So there goes the Danger Jackalope to hand here. So even if this does get sniped, it means he is going to get another body out of the field, which is good. Definitely like to be able to see that right off the bat. Hoping to finally get a summon and a draw off of this so he can keep some advantage up here and not fall too far behind. That infinite impermanence really screwing him up at the start of this game here, but that does also mean that and he's also been sniped twice on the danger monsters, man. Those dice are loaded on Travis's end here. So I'm going to start rolling for the Jackalope now because he's going to activate it. And of course, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again. We're going to get a 6, and it's going to hit the second Danger Mothman. Big F's in chat since he can't activate that, but he does get the Jackalope summon and a draw off of it as well. Not necessarily maintaining a lot of advantage here, but he's at least able to do something with this, which means he now has 2 bodies on field to be able to go into the Galatea, thankfully enough. Meaning that he has further plays to be able to get extra bodies on field and set up more than just a Galatea to Girsu pass. So, all right, now we're actually going to banish the Nightmare from the graveyard here to be able to send, I believe, the World Wand from deck. We'll find out here in just a moment. Yep, there goes the World Legacy World Wand. And he is actually, unfortunately, going to have to use the Galatea to search for the Babel this turn, as he did not open it this time. Very unfortunate. But, you know, it is what it is. If you open the Babel, great. If not, then just search it off a Galatea. It's not a huge deal, usually. So there's going to go the World Wand to banish and summon back the Orcust Nightmare onto that Galatea right there. He's now actually going to use the Galatea to shuffle the World Legacy World Wand back into the deck and get that Babel right out. Kind of debating on whether or not that's actually the right play to go with here, but I think, honestly, it is kind of his best bet at this current point in time, unfortunately. But regardless, it'll at least set up his plays. He's got his graveyard set up. He can start playing on Travis's turn and still have access to all of his resources, which is really good, given that he was able to get all of them back in the graveyard for future plays. All right, so just shuffle it up here, kind of, once again, thinking at the same time as he's shuffling on which path to go with here. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see a Gearsuit touchdown here just a moment once we're done shuffling here. There is a lot of shuffling in this video, I will not lie. All right, so just thinking here, he is actually now going to... Looks like he is just going to overlay right on top of that Galatea. Unfortunately, not really much else he can do at this point in time. He could go for the Bardiche play if he wants to, but that would kind of stop his Orcust combo right there. I mean, he could still do some stuff during Travis's turn, but not quite enough. He'd much rather have the Gearsuit to be able to get the extra pops and bonus plays as well. Just getting the Gearsuit rotation is so huge in general, so... Let's see. Yep, there it's going to go the Gearsuit overlay on the Galatea. Unfortunately, with no effect because he has nothing on Travis's field to pop, nor any resources to recycle from the banished pile, which is very, very unfortunate. We are actually going to go to the IP Masquerade now. Just we've got the graveyard set up. We have a Link play on Travis's turn set up. We're going to set one back row and pass. All right, so Lucas just making sure that he knows what's in his graveyard. It's all straightened up here. Travis is going to debate on what to play here. He's got 5 cards in hand to start his turn with. He did actually kind of get to cycle through his deck a little bit more and kind of figure out what resources he wants to keep, which ones are not as important, thanks to that Mothman being able to give him more options. So looks like there was a Kalatosa in hand. He's going to normal summon the Kalatosa. Kind of an odd play, because he's not going to be able to get its effect off. So he's actually going to set one, which I'm pretty sure is a Tri-Brigade Revolt, but we are not 100% sure, to be quite honest. So... Looks like he's going to attempt to move to end phase, and during the end phase, he's going to get his effect off first, which is going to be a Melffy Puppy to the field. And then now Lucas is going to be able to also use his own effect of his Orcust monsters in the graveyard during the end phase here. Just kind of reading the puppy to make sure he knows what it does, realizing that it special summons a beast from deck, which is fine. So he's going to banish the Orcust Nightmare now to get another resource into the graveyard, which I believe is going to be the Symbol Skeleton this time around, if I am not mistaken. Yep, there's going to go the Symbol Skeleton touching down here. Making sure we've got some extra plays to go with. I think, so we're still in end phase here. We haven't really, we're not ending the turn just yet, unfortunately. Travis doesn't really have anything else to do, but Lucas does. We got 2 back row, a Kalatosa and a Melffy Puppy here on Travis's field. Kalatosa not able to pop anything, unfortunately, because it was not special summoned off of a beast effect. But he has at least the puppy to be able to special summon something from his deck when when Lucas normal or special summons during his turn. So, Symbol Skeleton actually going to banish to summon back the Galatea here. And then the Galatea going to be able to shuffle back his Orcust Nightmare into the deck to set the Orcust Crescendo. So now he has a negate for his turn, since this is still during the end phase of Travis's turn. Once again, just really be able to help set him up for... be able to play through whatever Travis has set in that back row there. That can be kind of intimidating. Who knows what those 2 cards could be? It could be literally anything. Could be literally anything. All right, so shuffle it up here, and now I think we are actually going to officially move on into Lucas's turn finally, after Travis's was dragged on for a little bit longer than it needed to be. But hey, Lucas got some advantage roll in there, got some more cards into play for him to use. All right, so got shuffled up there, just double checking the graveyard, making sure he's not missing anything else to activate. And now it's going to pass over to his turn by the looks of it. Yep. And there's going to be our draw for turn, which looks like a Monster Reborn. Talk about a top deck, ladies and gentlemen. That is just great. All right, so kind of thinking on his plays here. You know, he's got the extensions, so he's not too worried about a lot of things here. It was kind of actually like the perfect top deck for him in this scenario. Otherwise, he'd kind of be backed into a corner with some of his resources here, which is totally fine. So... waiting on a response from him. He's going to activate the Galatea again to send the Symbol Skeleton back to deck and be able to set, I believe, the Orchestrated Return this time around. Really wanting to look deeper into that deck, get some more draws, and send the stuff he doesn't need to the graveyard here. I think that's what he goes for. Let's see. He might be debating on that Crescendo, actually. Not 100% sure. He's going to go for the second Crescendo. He wants to make sure he has a follow-up negate to keep Travis off of whatever plays he is attempting to go for here. Alrighty, let's see. Shuffling back up here, of course, as always. It's not a live duel without tons of shuffling here. Just gotta say, that's just kind of standard Yu-Gi-Oh for you here. All right, maybe someday we'll be able to put that deck down. That poor thing. All right, not gonna worry about cutting it again. Travis is just too nice. He's believing in Lucas. He's having faith in him that he's not stacking the deck, but. I don't know, man. Some of these plays... No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't be worried about it. These guys play fair and square, so no worries there. All right, Travis reading his own card, just make sure that they're both understanding of Melffy Puppy, and he's kind of debating on like when to activate it here. He knows that Lucas is about to summon. Let's see, kind of thinking on some of his plays, looking at that topologic Bomber Dragon pretty hard there. He's wanting to, he's checking to make sure that this play will work. Okay, really thinking on it now. He's got it. Looks like he's looking at another Galatea, but not quite sure. So he's gonna link 4 actually with the Galatea and the IP, turning off his negate very unfortunately. There's gonna go the topologic Bomber Dragon onto the field now, which is summoned with an IP, so it cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is great. Travis is going to respond by activating his Melffy Puppy now to special summon from deck that level 2 or lower beast monster, which is most likely just going to be another Melffy name, because the Kalatosa here would be kind of pointless, and I think he's only running 1 anyways, which is completely fair. Alright, looking through his deck here, peeking through options, trying to find the best one. Taking some time to think about this here just a little bit. Realizing the board he's up against got 3 back row and a topologic Bomber Dragon that can't be destroyed by card effects is, of course, just deadly. Not really much for Travis to go off of here. He's kind of just doing the best. He's going to summon the Karas, actually. Out of all the Tri-Brigade names, I think Kit actually would have been the best to go for, because if it gets sent to Graveyard, then that means he can get extra resources off of it, but I think I kind of understand his line of play here. I'm not sure. He might have just seen level 2 Beast Tri-Brigade name and called it a day. I am actually not like 100% sure on that here. All right, so got shuffled up there, got the deck cut. Lucas is now going to follow up by normal summoning the Gears to the Orcust Mech Knight. And looks like that's going to be able to just go off. Oh, that was actually the Monster Reborn. Sorry, Monster Reborn summoned back the Gears, so I didn't see that in the far zone over there. I'm going to be able to use the Orcust Mech Knight to send the Nightmare to Graveyard here. And actually is going to be able to clear off the 2 monsters on Travis's field with the topologic Bomber Dragon, sending Gearsu to Graveyard, since it was special summoned in the Bomber Dragon zone. Totally cool play there. It means that now he's got a free field to be able to attack into. He doesn't have to worry too much about what Travis has, except for those 2 back rows, which he's actually going to flip up the Tri-Brigade Revolt now. Lucas is looking at it and kind of reading here. He's going to summon back the 3 that he just got sent to the Graveyard here. Well, I guess the 2 plus the Melffy Rabby. So, I mean, that's at least it's at least a Rugal at worst. So that's not too bad here. Not like the best option he could have had, but it is what it is. So Lucas, sorry, is actually thinking about his play here. He's like, well, crescendos are both dead, so I can't crescendo the Revolt, but I can at least call by the grave the Karas to make sure that he doesn't get to use it. He forgot that the Revolt uses the Graveyard and the Banish pile, so Travis is actually still able to summon the Karas. He just has its effects negated, which doesn't really matter because he's just going to link him off right away, and he's not going to really be able to get anything out of him. So I think this was actually kind of a misplay by Travis here. He didn't realize the ruling on the Tri-Brigade Revolt here, in the fact that you have to use all of those bodies. He was thinking that just because you can only use those bodies to link some of them, you can only use a number of them, or you can like choose to just use some of them, but you actually have to use every single body that you summon, and then go into whatever link monster that is. So because you can special summon a number of your Beast Warrior, and or Winged Beast that are banished into your graveyard, but negate their effects, and immediately after this effect resolves, link summon a Tri-Brigade link monster using only those monsters. Just because it says only those monsters doesn't mean that you can only choose to use some of them. You do actually have to use all of them, so he would have only been able to go for the Rugal here. But as you'll see later on in the game, it actually doesn't matter too much. So basically, we're just going to get a Farragut, because he still had the topologic Bomber Dragon was able to actually clear up that main monsters on there, which is just nice, because I think he actually used the Farragut to summon to its zone. So all right, Travis kind of thinking here a little bit further on where to go. I mean, of course it's still Lucas's turn, so he doesn't have too many options here. So he is actually going to get the Kalatosa out, or no, I guess it did go back to his turn. So he's going to get the Kalatosa out, trying to pop the topologic Bomber Dragon off of summoning from the Farragut, but he forgot about the IP's effect to make the topologic Bomber Dragon not able to be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So that is just going to resolve and not do anything. It changes literally nothing about the board state here, unfortunately. So now Travis has got to figure out kind of like what to do to follow up with here to be able to get past this Bomber Dragon, because that is going to be a big nuisance for him in all honesty. So he's going to actually normal summon the Melffy Puppy here, which does not trigger the Bomber Dragon, because Bomber Dragon specifically says special summon to a zone or like monster points to. He just normal summon, so it's different. But now he's thinking on his player. He's initially going to go for a link 4, but he realizes that's not quite the play. So he's kind of thinking he's actually going to go for a rank 2 play with the Kalatosa and the Melffy Puppy by the looks of it here. He's going to overlay them together, maybe here. We'll see. Pretty sure he goes for an Exceed play anyhow. All right, this was kind of a mistake by Travis here, because yes, he does go for the rank 2 into the Joyous Melffys, but unfortunately he summoned it to Farragut Zone, so his monster is actually destroyed because of the Bomber Dragon effect. Very, very tight misplay right there. Literally any other zone other than the one Bomber Dragon points to as well. He had 3 other zones he could have summoned to, but he had to summon it to one of the 2 zones that are actually going to blow it up, so very, very unfortunate. Just explaining the ruling here of Bomber Dragon from Lucas to Travis to make sure that Travis understands and is aware of why his monster is actually being destroyed. He's like, yep, well, that was just kind of my mistake there, so sure, that is fine. Looked like there was another Infinite Impermanence set in the back row there. Kind of surprised he didn't use that sooner. He actually could have activated it in response to that Bomber Dragon to keep his Joyous Melffys if he wanted to. Unless I saw the wrong card, that might not have actually been Infinite Impermanence. I'm not 100% sure, to be quite honest. So we will see here in just a moment. All right, just kind of thinking on his stuff here. He's going to go Farragut. He's going to try to go into the battle phase with the Farragut. Actually, he's going to attempt to crash with the Bomber Dragon. Lucas is actually going to stop him in the main phase really quick so that he can actually banish the Symbol Skeleton and summon back that Galatea from the graveyard here, meaning that the Orcust Crescendo is live once again, so that now Travis will go to battle phase and crash with the Galatea, only taking 200 damage now instead of the 1400 from the Bomber Dragon, which is way better. And now be able to get the draw and basically the mulligan off of the Farragut, which is actually a pretty good play, given that he is just trying to make sure that he has something to deal with this board here. Not too many options that he has to go with, but actually the evenly matched at the end of the battle phase is going to be met with that Crescendo. Travis forgot that that was back online. They still had one in the back row, but main phase 2, we're going to special summon the Alpha, actually. And we're going to go ahead and bounce the Alpha and the Galatea to the hand, opting to not go for the Bomber Dragon. After Lucas explains it, he's like, yeah, that was kind of a mistake. You could have still targeted the Bomber Dragon. And Travis is like, yeah, that was kind of my bad there. That definitely would have been the smarter play. So they were kind of like backtracking and stuff here. In response to the Alpha, Lucas was actually activating the Galatea here and getting that Orchestrated Return set before the Galatea gets bounced to the extra deck here. Totally good to get those extra resources in play, potential resources anyways. We still got the Bomber Dragon on the field, and Travis is just going to end on an Alpha pass. Literally no back row, no hand. He is just going to be preying on this body to keep him alive at this point in time. He is completely out of resources at this point. Lucas has been playing the Orcust build quite well and keeping all of his stuff well cycled. So gonna look at the graveyard here, make sure he doesn't need to activate anything on end phase. He's gonna get it past him, take the top deck here. And I'm not 100% sure what that top deck was there, but it must have been, it was a Silent Boots. Yep, that's right, because he realized he could have used that one earlier, but it's kind of useless to him now, in all honesty. But looking to see if he has some plays here. He should be able to have something. Let us see. So, he's actually looking at the Orcust Crescendo in the graveyard, gonna banish it. So that means the other one is actually turned off this turn if he does want to get an Orcust Link Monster on field. But, of course, he doesn't have to worry about anything from Travis since he doesn't have any potential effects to activate at this point in time. So that is actually quite good. Alright, so the Orcust Crescendo here is going to go ahead and search this from our deck to our hand. I believe actually another Gears through the Orcust Mekk-Knight, which is just, yes, there we go. Wonderful play here. This means that now we will be able to get our combo back off again, potentially here. I think we do still have a Nightmare there in the Banished, which is not a big deal. It just means that we'll have to kind of play our resources a little bit differently here. So, just kind of thinking on, shuffling once again. So, of course, can't escape that shuffling mess there. Alright. Let's go ahead and normal summon the Gear soon now. It is in a zone the Bomber Dragon points to, but it is normal summon, so it does not matter, does not activate its effects. So he's actually going to go ahead and send from his deck to the graveyard. Looks like the World Wand maybe here. Not quite sure. Let's see. Ooh, what's his plan going to be? All right, look at his extra deck. He's looking at his options, try to weigh what's going to be best here. Let's see what he ends up actually sending. All right, kind of looking at his graveyard to also decide as well what is going to be the best option. Just wants to know what he has in play, like what's available for him and what's not. So it looks like we are... Ooh, what are we going for here? I think he's realized that if he goes for any sort of link play, it's just going to get blown up. So he might just go straight for... Ooh. It is kind of a tough choice because the Bomber Dragon and the Alpha are currently matched in attack points. So if he crashes them together, it will get rid of the Bomber Dragon, unfortunately. And he's not quite ready to let go of that thing just yet. So once again, just kind of deciding on some of our maneuvers here and what's going to be the best way to play through this. Okay, what do we got here, Lucas? He's really thinking hard on this play. He really wants to make sure that it is the right move whenever he goes for it. There's going to be the World One touching down finally. All right. Finally landed on a play there. All right, that will totally work. Which means that now we're able to get that Nightmare back from the extra deck, which is totally sweet. Let's see here where we go with this. So there's going to go the World One. I'm going to banish the Nightmare away from the Bomber Dragon zone so that he doesn't have to worry about that. Gonna summon it in attack mode, but it doesn't really matter. It only has 100 points, so nothing like too relevant there, I would say, but it is what it is. So he's actually going to activate the Orc's return to send the Nightmare to Graveyard here, just so that he can get it set up to boost his Bomber Dragon as well as gaining some more cards in his hand, which is totally awesome. Be able to get that little loop going on there. All right, so now he's thinking here. He realizes once again that his Bomber Dragon's not going to be able to attack over that Alpha without crashing itself, and he really wants it on field to establish dominance against the Tri-Brigade Melffy deck here. So after all, Link Arrows are actually kind of important for at least the Tri-Brigade portion of the deck, which we haven't really seen too much of, unfortunately. We've just seen a couple of Karoses and a Farragut, but I guess we've also seen the Revolt, which is fine. All right, so really contemplating plays here. He's doing math in his head, trying to make sure he can get over things. He's going to the battle phase. He's going to damage step here, and in damage step is actually going to activate the Orcust Nightmare, targeting his Bomber Dragon. Doesn't really matter too much what he sends here, because whatever he does send will get him over that Alpha. But he's thinking of like future plays in terms of like coming to the crackback to stay ahead. So he is actually going to send the Orcust Symbol Skeleton, boosting that Bomber Dragon by 300 points, putting Travis down to 7,500 now after the 200 damage earlier from crashing with Farragut. And then going to be able to attack directly with the Gear Suit, the Orcust Mech Knight, for another 1,800, which will put him down to 5,700 life points. But with as little resources as he has, I don't know if it's really going to be all that worth it for Travis, especially since Lucas does have that Symbol Skeleton set up, I believe. Actually, I think he's all out of Galateas, so I don't think he's going to be able to send any back. They're just calculating points right now to make sure that they are correct, that he is at 5,700. It does take him a second to like kind of track back everything and make sure that they are exactly correct, but yes, they are. So Travis now at 5,700. Lucas with the potential to cause some serious damage during Travis's turn here. Travis got a top deck, and he realizes that it's not what he needed, so he just scoops. That was actually a Melffy Playhouse off the top deck here, not anything that he actually could have used at all. He already needed to have something established for that to be a viable card. So that is going to be an easy 2-0 cleanup for the Orcust, I guess mid-range Orcust deck here. If you guys want to check that out, there will be a link up in the cards, probably earlier on in the video. But thank you so much for joining in today, guys. That is all we got for you. And remember, good fun. Have luck.